What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Common Thread featuring your boy, Devin McCarty. Today, we've got a special guest, someone who is near and dear to my heart. We go way, way back. Quinton Blake. He is like, I don't know, one of my two very, very best friends. It's hard to pick between the both of you. We've known each other for, Quinton says, 17 years. Fun fact for everybody before I let Quinton introduce himself. This is actually take two. We actually did a podcast that nobody will ever see or hear because, Devin had some word vomit when we were doing the podcast. It was good. And then I lost my train of thought during most of it, and I scratched it, didn't like it, and it was an hour of our life we'll never get back. So, Quinton, without further ado, give us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? And how do we know each other? Tell the people. Go.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Quinton, 24, living in Springfield, Vermont. I'm an account specialist for Vermont Telephone. How do we know each other? That's kind of
That's a loaded gun.
Interesting question.
Live down the street.
Because I kind of don't know. I feel like I've known you for so long that I don't genuinely remember how we met, but I think it was when I was like 6 or 7 playing on the street with like Megan and Caitlin and all of them.
I think it was your sister was friends with Caitlin. Caitlin lived across the street from me.
Because I knew you
literally just down the road
when we were in elementary school.
Yes. You were just down the way. You weren't far at all.
Yeah.
You weren't far at all. The rest is history. We've clicked. We've gone through. There you go. So that's that. All right. Conversation for another day. Let's kick it right off. Obviously, pandemic, COVID-19, big topic of conversation. That's literally all that's going on. Flip side of it, from a human perspective, passing time seems to be quite the thing. So what have you been doing during this crisis mode? Are you working from home? What activities, what things are you doing to kill this awful situation that we're all kind of going through?
So right now I am working at home. For anyone who thinks working at home is cool, it sucks, but still happy that I have a job. I'm grateful for that. But things that I've been doing to pass the time, I've been going on a lot more walks lately around town just by myself, kind of getting new perspectives of town, just streets that I've never really gone on, trying to get steps in during the day. And then the other thing that I'm trying to do is my house is sort of split up into a duplex. So I'm trying to cosmetically redo the upstairs side of things. So like putting on fresh paint, cleaning all the floors, trying to make it not look shitty like it is right now. And that's what I'm doing right after this is going to paint. But that's what I've been doing to pass the time. I don't know. Oh, plus like video games and TV and stuff like everyone else.
Okay, so what are some of Quinton's top picks on the TV realm, music realm, video games? What are you doing? Send it to me, brother. Broham.
So for TV, I think everybody should be watching this show. I think it's one of the best shows on TV right now. It's funny, it's heartfelt, goes into a lot of social mental health issues, which Devin already knows what I'm talking about. Is the show Dave with Little Dicky. I love it. I think it's great. I think Devin could probably rave about it for hours. Your take.
So I actually reached out to Gata to be on the show. I reached out on his Instagram. Not even gonna lie, I shot my shot, right? Because I felt bold. He retweeted me. I reached out to him. I was like, what are the odds? Like, I want this guy on my show. I want him to tell his story because obviously this guy, like that last episode of Dave, emotional. I'm not going to go into it so people can watch it, but it's an impressive show. It's definitely a funny show. Primarily, it's definitely a comedy, but Little Dicky is very impressive in that he apparently he has full control of the show. What he's done with it, writing wise, the way he views his humor is different and unique. The characters on the show give it a different kind of flavor than most things out there right now. It's kind of hard to draw a comparison. I think it's just really unique right now. And it definitely has raised my awareness on his talents. I was a fan of his prior to the show. For me afterwards, now I think that, it kind of elevates that a little bit. But that's my take. Video games, what are you
Definitely
playing?
a triple threat now.
Oh, definitely. What are you playing for video games?
So for video games, I've definitely been doing Rocket League. Right now on Xbox, it's on the Game Pass. So if you have Xbox Live, it's free. I think on PlayStation, it's just free in general, which is fucking stupid. But yeah, definitely Rocket League. I've been getting a lot into like the virtual board games. So like Monopoly, Uno, Life, like Scrabble, basically all those games that you can play with your friends, kind of old school wise. Very nostalgic and still really cool to play.
I think it's funny
What about
playing
you?
those games that I've been playing the rules all wrong. Right? We've played this a few times. Like, I didn't know when you played Monopoly, I didn't know you had to literally buy every land piece you ever were on. I guess I didn't know that. That was news to me. I didn't know there were different. I don't know. I guess I've been playing Monopoly.
Yeah, a lot of the rules are a lot different than what I remember. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And Monopoly is a lot more difficult than I originally anticipated, which is probably why I don't remember those rules as a child, because we just scratched them because they were fucking hard.
I was more of a Life guy when I was growing up.
I love Life, but it's not. There's no Life anywhere like on consoles and stuff. I mean, there is on the phone, but
Total crap.
it's like a passive play.
It was all about trying to get that big fat retirement. Like it was.
Yeah.
So, we talked about shows, video games.
What about you? So I said Dave. What about you? What are you watching?
So what am I watching? I mean, I've got a lot of hot takes for people. I think if Dave is obviously going to be my number one choice right now. If you haven't seen it, it's on FXX on Hulu. It's a great show. The next one I would definitely recommend. They're pumping out new episodes now, and if you haven't caught up, go catch up. HBO's Westworld. Hot take: the beginning of the second season. I feel a lot of people's agony and pain that it wasn't the best start to a season 2. But I think it fixed itself about halfway through season 2. Season 3 started. I don't want to give anyone any spoilers. It's really fixed itself. Big fan of it. Definitely go check it out. Another one that's a sleeper pick, under the radar, Lego Masters. If anybody ever played with Legos as a kid, oh my God, these people are insane with what they build. You absolutely have to check it out. Will Arnett is the host of the show. So good. Like, he is so funny. One last thing, I'm rewatching Chernobyl. If anybody hasn't seen the Chernobyl documentary, go watch it. I had a bold tweet the other week. If anybody out there, HBO, I'm really talking to you. After this whole pandemic is over, if you want to just do a COVID-19 version of what you did get the same writers, the directors, producers, whoever who did Chernobyl, do COVID-19. Hot take. Movie wise, there's nothing out streaming wise that's been catching my eye. I still need to see on Disney Plus. I still need to see Frozen 2 and Toy Story 4. I've heard mixed reviews about both. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna go for it and see what happens.
Toy Story 4 is a go. Frozen 2 is a no-go.
I heard the
I think if you very personally actually liked Frozen as a movie originally, then you're gonna hate the second one. But obviously if you're just watching it to watch it, you're gonna be like, oh, it's just another Disney movie, it's not too bad. I think which is my kind of hot take, is that I think, to try to not be spoilery, they ended Toy Story 4 in a way that allows them to potentially turn it into a TV show. like to put on Disney Plus.
Of course.
But I mean, that's my opinion. I doubt it's gonna happen, but
Of course, they would though. They would. They got to make their money. The Toy Story is like, I actually kind of want to. I think I should do it justice. I haven't seen Toy Story 1 in a while, and I've kind of forgotten which one's which between 2 and 3. They were both kind of for me. Like,
yeah.
3, I remember the ending of 3. I definitely remember the ending of 3, but I can't remember like the main plot. Like, was it Buzz Lightyear's dad or was it the bear thing? I can't remember. I think I know which one is which. Obviously, I should. I haven't watched them in a long time. I need to catch up. And so that's probably my next on the to-do list. As far as video games go, just cranking on Rocket League, but also weird, really like throwback, but Skyrim. I just like shot in the dark on that. Like I like just started getting into that again. I don't know why.
I can tell you I've never once in my life played Skyrim. Not one time.
Get off my podcast right now. Get off my goddamn podcast. You need to, sir. We game share. You go after this is done. You go download it, and you let me know. You gotta play. I think you should do it. You gotta. What else is there to do? If anybody hasn't played Skyrim, go play Skyrim. It's an older game now. It's almost 8. Oh my god, it's like 8 years old. Wow, that's a thought. Same people who made Fallout, Bethesda.
It's like remastered though now, right? Like,
yeah.
For the one sort
how
of.
How much you can remaster for the Xbox One edition? I mean, it's not anything too crazy. I mean, it's a big game. So that's sort of my video game take. Now, switching over to music before I ask you, I've been kicking it with the oldies the last few weeks. I made, if anybody hasn't heard it, go check it out on Spotify. My throwbacks, jams, playlist, almost 1,200 songs. It covers like anything and everything. Like I'm telling you, it's like Britney Spears, Nickelback, Neo, Blink-182. Like it's so Natasha Bedingfield, Ludacris. Like it's all over, but it's good. Slipknot. A Day to Remember. Like, people are like, wow, what were you thinking when you made? I'm like, dude, this is all the stuff. This is all the music ever that was ever good between the late 90s and basically from when I was a kid to when I graduated high school. That's the playlist. Really good. Check it out on Spotify. I've only been listening to that since I made it because I was so impressed with myself that it took so long to make. I have to. And there's still songs I'm like, oh, I forgot I added that song. Other thing, beginning of this year, music has been great, has been Prime, Mac, M, Justin Bieber, Art Galantis on the DJ spectrum. Like, it has been, I think, a flavorful year so far for music. I've been liking almost all of it. And then Quinton's take. Now, I already know Quinton's take, but I'm gonna let Quinton tell his take on music currently during the pandemic. And also in general so far in 2020.
So my take on music is that I don't think it's been like a terrible year for music. But I think I'm just starting to get to that age where I'm like, oh, everything sounds the same. So I'm just starting to like revert back to older music. Like I literally just broke out my iPod Touch from 6th grade through like 10th grade, and I've been listening to that lately. So if that says anything about what I think about music.
You got to tell the people that's a legendary iPod. That iPod, that has stories to tell, man. That music is good.
But yeah, no, I think music has been okay. I think the albums that have come out have been good. Like all things considered, there's definitely been music that I like enjoy and appreciate. There's been other stuff that I don't really care for, but I mean, that's just.
Who's been so far to this point? Like, what's been your favorite album to this point?
So I think favorite album is definitely Lauv's album for sure. Just because I like almost every song on it, and I have a lot of the songs saved on it. But I think like if it counts, even though they're kind of releasing it song by song, is the All Time Lows, like kind of EP that they're doing, which is like, I think they're like releasing a song every week or two or something off their new album. I think right now they're either up to 4 or 5 songs. So like, I like all of them and I've saved all of them. So I guess it's kind of a good direction. um, which goes back again to like listening to older stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny. Some of these older bands we used to listen to are just like making a second wind of things, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about food, COVID-19. Quinton, what has been your recipes for COVID-19?
Pizza bites. No, no. So I've been trying to I've been trying to just kind of mix a bunch of stuff together. So and like trying to substitute different ingredients for other things. So for example, like instead of doing a BLT with lettuce, I'm using spinach. Instead of putting mayo on things, I've been trying to use like goat cheese to like supplement that, to like kind of make it a little healthier. Definitely been on a huge seltzer kick and coffee kick. Would be on a kombucha kick if I was good to go to grocery stores, but not going to do that. So yeah, I don't know. What have you been doing? I mean, it's kind of been the same stuff, but just like tweaking it.
I think I can speak for a lot of people on the grocery store front. I used to go in to a grocery store and like have a plan. Now it's more like I don't know. I go in and I just try to find whatever the hell is left in the grocery store, and I formulate what the hell I'm going to make from there. Generally, I'll peruse the meat section and I'll say, okay, no chicken, great. What can we do from there? I was lucky enough the last time I went grocery shopping, though. I stole 2 packages of chicken tenders and a package of marinated chicken breasts. So you can hate me. That's 3 packages of chicken,
Right.
but that's gonna last me a week. So everybody can just go.
Yeah, I noticed. So like a lot of meats have been going out quickly, like chicken, burger, and stuff. So when the last time I went to the grocery store, which you don't like seafood, but they had a ton of seafood like on the cheap. Like I got like 3 packages of salmon for like $4, which is like kind of crazy.
So it's
and like
funny
I bought
that
like a
because if I like seafood right now in New Hampshire, like lobstermen are literally selling lobster off the boat like cheap as can be. You didn't hear that from me, but
now's
like
the time to get into seafood for
yeah,
sure.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know how I can. I don't know. I gotta get past that wave, but
I think you have to make lobster rolls, like your homemade lobster roll,
I gotta get past
because that's different.
So recently from Secret Easy Meals for people to make, if you have chicken, and if there is sweet potatoes, good luck. If you can get both of those, that's like gold right now. Those 2 things are gold. Potatoes and sweet potatoes and chicken, gone. But there is a good recipe if you can make them like on a pan, just doing like, you chop up the sweet potatoes, and you leave the chicken breast if you have one, or if it's chicken tenders or whatever you got. Maybe it's chicken cutlets. It doesn't matter. Marinate it with barbecue sauce and some olive oil. Drizzle it all over the sweet potatoes and the chicken. Put it in the oven at 400. It depends on the kind of meat you get. If you get chicken tenders, it doesn't need to be in there too long. I would say at that rate, though, too, put the sweet potatoes on a different pan. It's just going to take a little bit longer to make those crisp. But generally speaking, if you had chicken breasts and the sweet potatoes chopped up, it's literally like 50 minutes at 400. Easy peasy, tastes really good. I know it sounds weird with barbecue sauce on sweet potatoes and everything else, but it like gives it that crisp. It's kind of like caramelized because it cooks. I don't know. It's really good. So you heard it here first. Cheat meal. Other than that, been doing Philly cheesesteak, breakfast sandwiches. Those seem to be easy because I got eggs and cheese and bacon is always available.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about you. I'm definitely getting into like stir fries, just because stir fries are like throw a bunch of shit into a pan and cook it and then kind of just like go with it. So like the other day I took out turkey burger, chopped up broccolis, peppers, spinach, tomatoes, and just all kind of like sauteed it into a like whatever stir fry.
Mhm.
And then I took soy sauce, a little bit of butter, and then brown sugar, and put that into like a little thing and like cooked it on high to get it like crisp. And then like not a lot. I mean, it fed like 4 sittings, and it was maybe like 4 ounces of that. But then like just slowly pouring it over everything and then letting it slow cook, it like makes it get into the meat like really, really well, and it's not like super unhealthy.
Right.
But it was flames. I'd like want to do it again.
As it's on my mind too, instead of using pasta, because pasta's been flying off the shelf, that's another thing that's just been wiped out.
Yeah.
Strongly recommend, if your grocery store has one, red lentil pasta, kind of under the radar. Doesn't taste much different. Actually, I don't think it tastes any different than regular pasta. It's healthier for you, 13 grams of protein, like literally no carbs. It's good for you if you're trying to cut on the carbs. Look out for that. The other thing too, I've been doing stir fries, a little tougher now because the veggie selection's been like picked over the last few times I've been at the grocery store. So I kind of have to, so
Kind
my,
of just gotta,
yeah. So the strategy for going grocery shopping first, I would strategize by going to your meat section, then your produce, and then hit the middle lanes. I only do the middle lanes for a few things, mostly pasta, beans, occasionally bread, wraps, whatever. But aside from that, that's how I've been strategizing. That's my new attack formula for the grocery store. It's a good hot take for cheat sheets. I don't know. Some people go in with a plan. COVID-19, you got to go no plan. You just got to go no plan. What's there is now the plan. So,
exactly.
so switching gears a little bit, wanted to talk about kind of so we've known each other for our entireties of lives. And so we've high school, college, post-college life has been, I think, a little bit different for the both of us. We're both still kicking off the beginning of our young business career. I think it's a good talking point because I think we both have unique experiences to our journeys post-college. And I just want to touch base on them. I want to understand, like, I want you to tell your story on life since college. I mean, so you went to Springfield, you went to UVM, studied business. I'll let you talk about it,
Yeah.
and go from there. Let's hear Quinton's version of post-college life, things that may have changed you, influenced you to this point, and where you're going forward.
Yeah, so obviously went to Springfield for high school, went to Burlington for school, lived in Burlington for like 3 years. Was kind of, at the time, I was working like 32 hours a week, 18 credits, like really trying to grind out just finishing on time. So I totally dropped the ball on like doing internships and applying places just because I was trying to afford rent. And I was really fortunate to get a job at VTEL, like right out of school, which is like a company that you wouldn't really like expect or like think to be a good company because you're like, oh, it's still in Springfield. But I mean, they do really cool stuff. So I was like, whatever, this seems like a good opportunity. At the time was in a relationship. So moving home and staying close to Burlington was like a decent option. Commuting, I've never had a problem with driving long distances ever. As you can tell now, I can go to Boston every other day. Yeah, and then after getting out of a relationship, kind of started to decline again in terms of like starting to drink a little more, starting to like be just a complete asshole again, which was something that I personally was really like struggling with and trying to like better myself on. So I just kind of took the opportunity and said, I'm living at home. I can save up a bunch of money, and then in about a year and a half, 2 years, I can move out, have enough money to afford like rent, loans, car payments, all that stuff for like a 6-month period. And then just doing stuff to better myself mentally and physically, like going to the gym and buying things that actually better my life, even if they're a little bit expensive. Yeah.
Who's been your
That's
biggest influence? I gotta ask. I'm gonna ask some meat and potato questions. That's a good one. I want to know who's been the biggest influence for you post college life in your career and your path.
um, so I think career-wise, it's definitely my boss, Amber. If for some reason Amber Wilson ever watches this video, she is literally one of the most impressive women I've ever met in my entire life in terms of being able to like structure a department, like being a department head. And she's quite literally the busiest woman I've ever met in my entire life, but like she somehow like doesn't lose control of it ever, and always gets thrown in shitty situations like COVID, and just does a really good job. So yeah, I think for her, career-wise at least, um, all things considered,
Yeah.
she's the shit. But
That's great. That's great. What would you say, like, to people who are, young people, going out into the working world now, knowing what college students, maybe high school students, middle schoolers, whoever it is out there, young people of the world, what would be sort of your message to them, or maybe some tips or thoughts from your perspective?
I would definitely say, don't feel bad about yourself for having to move home. Because I think there's a big, especially in Springfield, there's a big thing that like, oh, you're moving home, which means that like you kind of didn't make it and you're just like going back in, you're never going to leave. But like, because I've been living in Springfield, and yes, I do now have a boyfriend who lives in Boston, so obviously I'm in Boston a lot, but like I've been able to save up money and do a lot of traveling. Like I feel like in the past year I've traveled a lot, which is something I never would have been able to do if I tried to go immediately live in a place like Boston, barely affording rent and groceries. So like I'm moving home, I've definitely been able to have better experiences post college, I think. And that it's like, obviously, if you were to get like a 100K job out of school, like don't move home, that's stupid. Like go live your life and you can still save money and stuff. But like us normal people, we'll have to start off with entry level jobs.
Yeah.
Don't ever feel bad about it, because feeling bad about it sucks. And about probably half a year of being home, you'll realize that feeling bad about it's stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a really good point, man. That's a really good point. I have to say from, not to get too emotional, but from my perspective, I have to tell you, I'm immensely proud of your accomplishments post college. I've seen you grow up. I've seen you blossom. Not gonna cry. Not gonna cry. It's not gonna happen. But no, you have come a long way. We've seen each other at our absolute lows, and we've been at each other before, and it's great to be able to connect in an adult fashion, but see you grow up, see you do so well. And the future is still like so bright for you. I mean, you're just literally starting out. I mean, you're what now, on year 2 out of college? So
yeah. And the other thing too is that I, for the longest time, used to have this like internal competition with my brother, being like, he's doing so many good things. He's literally a doctor in physical therapy now, like has the perfect girlfriend, good apartment, like perfect life. And then like one day just kind of hit me like, yeah, but he's also 4 years older than me. Like I'm still 24. He's now 27, turning 28. Like, so I just kind of have to like slow it down and be like, not as old as I think I am. So need to cool it.
At 24, you're certainly more ahead of your time than I was at that age, just to be quite honest with you. So,
Yeah.
it's think about it in that light. You know, it's not that easy these days to kind of get your foot out and get going.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you said who has been your biggest influence career-wise? Who has been your biggest influence career-wise, do you think? I mean, you've kind of hopped around a few different
my journey,
jobs since school.
my journey has been so. I went to so first of all, my high school experience was like very unique on its own. I went through things that I don't know most people who have gone through it. I barely graduated, to be quite honest with you. I remember I applied to 16 colleges. All I wanted to do at that time was to just get into a college. I knew I wanted to go to college. I wanted to take my education to the next level. I just wanted an opportunity somewhere. Out of those 16 colleges, I'll tell you right now the numbers because I counted them all. As those rejection letters came in, went right in the trash. I knew it. I saw those little envelopes. I didn't have to know the rest. I got rejected by 14 schools, 14 schools, which was pretty hard. Like I remember having a number one choice and being realistic. I remember putting in a lot of work into my applications, writing letters of my situation that happened in high school, and just looking for an opportunity. So I had been accepted to two schools, one in Ohio and one in Massachusetts. Go Bison, Nichols College was my choice. Help from my mom. Hit the books. I just really focused on my studies and really wanted to prove a point that, you know, I was a good student. I'm smart. I can do all these things that I felt like I couldn't have done in high school due to certain circumstances. So college was a bit of a whirlwind. I focused really hard. I worked. I was an RA. You know, I started my working career. You know, my first ever job was working as a production worker, cutting for 10 hours a day on a CNC machine, little display pieces, which was brutal. There's no windows. You don't talk to anybody for 10 hours a day. You're doing the same goddamn thing. And that was sort of a flip in my life as far as what I wanted to be doing, and kind of helped navigate me as far as my life goes. I'll never forget it. I'm very thankful for the experience. The money was great, but it wasn't everything because the job itself is tough. It takes a special person. Anybody who's a production worker out there, you have my utmost respect. I only did it for a month before I decided I needed a life change, and I got the hell up out of there. So graduated from college, Nichols College, with a sports management degree, and with honors, which I was really, really proud of. I'll never forget that moment. That was something that I was really proud of. Now, I did an internship, you know, opposed to Quinton. I did two internships, actually. I built my own website, an Amazon affiliate website, which was really cool. And then I also worked at Boston College in the marketing office. There were opportunities post-college, but in a unique circumstance, basically, I went to a private college that was expensive. And the problem then becomes, here's the solution. You've got immense amount of debt, and living in an area, Boston, which is really expensive. The two collide, and suddenly, you know, the jobs that are entry level in the Boston area, you're talking over 40, 50K. So as that reality started to kick in and I was applying to jobs in the Boston area, I didn't get many opportunities to really get myself out there because nobody took me seriously with a resume that said Vermont. I totally understand that now. I didn't then, but also the fact that I really didn't have much experience under my belt, and I was applying to jobs that were entry level. If I was qualified, or if they did take me on, they'd only pay, you know, 35, 45K, maybe. 35K is more realistic. So I couldn't afford it. There's no way. If you knew what I was walking out with, college debt plus the rent in Boston plus, food, it's not feasible. It wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So I came back to Vermont and I started job hunting in Vermont. Just so everybody's aware, there is literally nowhere ever to work in Vermont. It's tight. There's a lot of it. As a young business person, if you wanted to start a business thing, yeah, it's tough. Quinton's doing it absolutely right. I, on the other hand, when I graduated from college, I took 2 months off, just applied to jobs around the area, and I was hoping like somebody would just take a leap of faith with me and just take me. Sadly, nobody did. I all of a sudden was kind of lost. I was like, I thought I did everything right. I was an honor roll student. I had good grades. I had a 36-page senior thesis that was freaking great. Like I was like, somebody's going to take me on. Somebody's got to do it. And I went back to working at a grocery store, where I was a cashier for a long time. Decided to come back, in a month's time. I switched. They need more help in produce. It's a part-time job. So I was like, okay, I'll work in produce. It's not going to make, to be honest with you, I was making $9.70 an hour out of college. That sucks. You want to talk about getting a knife in your chest? $9.70 an hour for 36 hours a week, I think is mainly what I averaged out. Then they offered me another kind of, a gig as a night manager. Which basically entailed just looking over the store, closing the departments, taking in loads, all that stuff. So it was kind of a bump. It was a bump in pay. It was nice of them to offer me, and I took it. There was no question in my mind I was going to take it. It's a manager role. I didn't care what it was. I was taking it. At the time, I also decided that I wanted to get another job. I needed more money. Obviously, when the college bills, the loans start kicking in, I was like, nope, anything I had saved up was immediately gone. And that first time, I'll never forget that first check. It was gone. Everything I had ever saved was gone in that first loan. So I was like, I got to get another job. Decided to pick up a job at the gym. First, it was more like a floor attendant, so just kind of watching over people using equipment, and helping out with anybody who might have any questions about the gym, which was really great. It was a great opportunity for me to kind of get back in the sports realm. The person who oversees it, Christian, thank you so much. You gave me an opportunity to also get back into marketing. So I helped them on the back end of their website from time to time, come up with promotional ideas, set up some boards in the gym and stuff like that. Don't know if anybody ever knew that, but I was doing that. And then I also took on coaching soccer. I heard the local high school needed a soccer coach. I played a lot when I was growing up in high school, and I was like, why not? So I did that to start my career in the first year. That's all I did was coach soccer, worked at a gym. It was 3 different jobs. And I just want people to know that this is how the schedule would go typically. So a typical day was looking like I'd go depending. So it goes, sometimes it would be the gym in the morning, then to Shaw's, then to soccer, then back to Shaw's, and then go to bed, and then wake up, and then it might be Shaw's in the morning, soccer in the afternoon, back to Shaw's again. So I was pulling doubles a lot, and anytime there was a free spot to do something, I was trying to fill it with another job because I need money. And I want everybody to know that literally I was making like $10 or $11 an hour. I know that struggle. It's a grind. It's not fun, especially out of college when you have to pay bills. So, wow, this is going on. This is a long rant, but this is a rant that everybody needs to hear. So, a year in, the girl I was dating at the time, her dad worked at Okemo, and I was like, okay, what do you guys got for opportunities? I saw there was a marketing opportunity. I was like, oh, I've done marketing. Like, I know everything about marketing. I could be a marketing coordinator. Applied. Immediately rejected. I'm sure that's how that went. There's probably, I know what I know now. There's 80, applicants. This Joe Schmo with just a little bit of experience running a website, whatever, to the side. So I got a phone call. Life's back at rock bottom. Let's just put it this way. The girl I was with, me and her for 4 years, we broke up. I'm in shambles. I'm working all the time. I don't see any of my friends. Everybody's busy. Here I am. A month after that happens, I'm pretty bummed out. I get a phone call, HR from Okemo. This woman named Carly calls me. She's like, "Hey, are you interested in a job opportunity we have? We're looking for a human resources specialist recruiter. Would you be interested in something like this?"
What was the pay?
Well, I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I didn't even ask. I just said, well, tell me what the job entails. And she kind of told me what they were looking for. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. So basically they're looking for not necessarily a human resources person, more or less a recruiter, somebody who's going to travel around, set up, seasonal relationships, and go to college job fairs and go to high schools and talk to students about prospective jobs. And I was like, wow, I've never thought about any of this. But suddenly I'm excited. This sounds like a great job. The job just sounded really good for me. I was like, wow, I'm a social guy. This is everything I want. This is it. So we go down the process. I went in for a first interview. It went great. Second interview with both of them felt like I crushed. I felt like $1 million. At the time, this girl that I went to high school with, Emily, shout out Emily, great. Anyways, we hadn't spoken in a long time. I was like, hopefully she's going to put in a good word for me. But like, as I recall from Devin in high school, I'm like, damn, you were kind of a dick. So hopefully she doesn't remember any of that. But, so luckily enough, I got a call. I got the job. I didn't even care how much the pay was. But it was a full-time job with benefits, and I was getting 40 hours a week. I wouldn't have to work that much more. So I took it. I was very fortunate enough. And I am so thankful for those individuals, Crystal, Carly, who gave me my first opportunity. They took a chance on a kid with no HR background, with no recruiting background. They gave me a chance. I shared so moving forward, I did that for 2 years. Two years. And so Okemo was originally a family-owned business before it was bought by Vail Resorts, and then it became a corporate entity, which changed things a lot. In that change, structurally, things happened. With that structure change, one of my position at the time was no more. It was eliminated. They didn't need a recruiter anymore. And again, interesting enough, was seeing another girl for a year. We broke up. I lost my job. Here we are again in another, what the hell?
At rock bottom.
Boom, boom, 1-2 punch. You just hit the bottom again. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I was going to go. The people that I worked with were very kind and helpful to me. It's so hard to go through that, losing your job. Unexpectedly. I kind of saw it, but then I was like, I felt like I've always been a value piece of the operation. I always felt like I did my job. It wasn't because I wasn't bad. It wasn't because I was bad at my job. It was because the change, that was not a need. They didn't have that position. So I had a few options. I could go out to Colorado. They offered me a good offer, not feasible to, again, live out. I looked up rent in the Denver area, and again, here's my hunkin' chunkin' college debt, and wrap that up, and that's not happening. So then I took this job as a housekeeping manager. Totally new realm for me. I've never thought about anything like this ever. Career-wise, is this a path I want to be in?
And what did I always tell you?
It was all happening so fast. Everything happened so fast. Because you can't juggle. You need a job. And you need something now. And it pays well, and you still get the benefits, and you still get to work with people that you like. So
hotel business sucks.
So I did that for 3 months. I hit this wall, probably the beginning of last fall. It really hit me. Here I am, 25 years old, quarter life. I need a change. I've been in Vermont 3 years. I've worked really hard. I need something different. Something has to change. Housekeeping manager job, I was really thankful for it. I love the people I work with. I just needed something for me. I needed to start thinking about me. Number one, most important. More time. I wanted to do things. I needed to do something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to get back into recruiting. So I reached out to family and friends that I knew, and I said, listen, what are the possibilities? You know, I could come live with you or stay with you or do something. I needed to get out. I needed a fresh start, clean slate. My sister said she would be willing to help me out. So I decided, to start applying to jobs in this area, Portsmouth. And it was crazy. Like, I remember looking for jobs everywhere, like before this, and I never heard anything back. I applied to 10 jobs, heard back from 6, got 4 interviews, got 4 offers, took 1. It was a better offer that, the job I'm in now, I'm very appreciative of. It's been a grind. It was a total life change. And I know I went on a rant for it, but that's just 4 years, almost 4 years out of college, up and down, up and down. But don't quit fighting. I think that's pretty much the high and the low. Keep grinding. There's greener pastures. Good things will come. Most influential person to me, in my career, in my life, it's not somebody who I'm gonna have to say my mom. And I know that's weird, but like, she literally every day when I was at home, living at home, going through the grind, pushing as hard as I could, pushing my limits. And there were days where I came home and I cried. I'll never forget. There were a lot of days I came home and I cried. I worked 12-and-a-half-hour days with the housekeeping job. I worked 12-and-a-half hours with those 3 part-time jobs. And I just wondered where it was all going. What was all the point of it? Where was any of this going? And she never stopped believing in me. She always pushed me. I look at her life, and she's been a business owner. She's done everything. She shows up to work every day, sick or not. She is my biggest influence. I don't know a single person, man or woman, who works as hard as my mom does. Don't at me. George is the GOAT. She's literally been doing it for years. She's still working at 66. Sorry, Mom, threw you under the bus. There goes your age. But she is my idol. She is my rock. Don't even at me. That got way too emotional for me. I'm going to dig myself out of it, and try to wrap this podcast up. And I'm sorry I took so much of your time, Quinton, but I got on a rant, and then things started cycling. Wrap this all up. For all college, high school, middle school kids out there that might be listening, this is what I'll have to tell you. First of all, put yourself out there, get yourself out there, talk to people, send emails, people who are interconnected in the business community. You don't know, how it might help your career down the line, whether that's a reference or potential job. Anything can help. Seriously, you might start out entry level, making $9 an hour, but you can grow, you can bump. Just put in the work and don't stop, don't quit. Okay? The next thing I'll tell you is that sometimes in life, it's not about having the biggest role. I'll tell you that in that, some people want to be a CEO. Some people want to be a manager. Some people want to wear these big titles. And I say, you know what? If you want to do that, go for it. Reach for the skies. For those people who aren't sure, it's not about wearing the biggest title. It's not about having this big name, a CEO or senior director. Sometimes it's okay to be, for instance, right now, I'm a recruiter. I took a step down, but I'm way happier for it. And I think for me, what I realized in my life that's most important is my time and the things that I wanted to do. Now I am a recruiter doing something I enjoy. I DJ on the side, which is something I've always wanted to try. And I challenge people, if you've ever wanted to do something.
Catch him at Max's wedding.
Also, I'm Max. Talk to me after. But literally, I would just say, contact whoever. If you were want to get into, be a vet, contact your local, veterinarian or animal shelter and start volunteering. Those are the little things you can do. That's how I started with DJing. I literally reached out. I reached out to all these DJ businesses in New Hampshire when I moved over here, and that's how I got started with that. Literally nothing crazy hard about it, just getting yourself out there. So put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to push your limits. Life is what you make of it. If you want more time in your life, make more time for yourself. It's possible. It's not impossible. Don't be afraid of that. I think a lot of people are scared of like, oh, but I need money. I got you. I understand. I still got to do things. But what can be a hobby that can also make you money? Think about that on the side as well. That's my rant on business. I'm going to wrap this up because I went on way too long. But if you'd love to have Quinton back on for another episode so that he can actually talk, I think that's something we need to set up. This just went way too me-oriented, and I'm sorry, Quinton. Thank you for being on first.
You're good.
Love you. Love you. Again, I am super proud of you. We're going to have you on here again for sure. And if anybody wants to see Quinton back on, please let me know.
He's going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah. Boo, we don't want him on. Boo. Throw tomatoes. Boo. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure you share, like, whatever, subscribe to this. It's great. Quinton, thanks again, buddy. Broham, love you. We'll get you on again and see you guys next time.